Welcome back. As I said in my introduction, I'm Tyler Bates. I'm an Air Force flight surgeon. I've been through this military match. I went kind of the roundabout, weird way of wanting to do physical medicine and rehabilitation, which is not an option anywhere at all within the Air Force. So, I'm sharing with you some of my lessons learned about how to do the military match for when you have a specialty that is not on the list, or you have a highly competitive specialty that only offers one or two seats every single year. And for the rest of you, absolutely, I still hope that you are getting some benefit out of this and honestly understanding some of the intricacies of military medicine a little bit better. So, on today's episode, we are going to be talking about the actual military match process. It is really confusing. It is different than civilian. You have people at school that are able to help you with how to do the civilian match and filling out the ARAS form. The military medicine match, it is definitely a completely different beast. They've unfortunately changed things since I went through. We used to have computer access and get on and fill everything out. They gave, if I remember correctly, four kind of vague categories, and you were able to fill it out as you pleased. So I created second subheadings on things. So I think like one of them was research, and with that, I created things for poster presentation and other research experiences, kind of like you would do with ARAS. Things like work experiences, or maybe it was prior military experiences. I took that, but then I added work experiences, added some of the extra volunteer experiences that didn't fit into some of the others. As I said, unfortunately, that is no longer something that if you are at a civilian school that they give you access to. I'm not quite sure how they're going to be doing it. If you have to write it up and print it out and fax it to somebody, I really don't know. I wish that I knew that one for you, but I want to talk a little bit more about the intricacies of choosing your specialty. As I said, I want to do physical medicine and rehabilitation. That was completely off the table. How do I go about ensuring doing that? Let's say you're in the same boat as me. You want to do something that is off the table and not an option, or you want to do something, say ophthalmology, that has one, maybe two spots, and you don't want to do anything else. In the military medicine match program, you actually have the option of ranking two separate specialties. And then there's a third thing that we have to talk about, but we'll get there when we get there. But as I said, the ability to rank two separate specialties. Let's say you really like OBGYN. There are a handful of OBGYN spots within the Air Force, and you say, yes, I really, really want to do OBGYN. You rank OBGYN as your first choice specialty. Kicker, you have to rank every single Air Force OBGYN program, and you rank them in your priority order. And then you say, well, it really is delivering babies that I like to do. And full spectrum family medicine wouldn't be bad. So you say, hey, I'm going to take my second choice specialty and put it as family medicine. And I might even get one of the OB fellowships. They exist within the Air Force. And then you rank. But you have to, again, rank every single one of the Air Force family medicine residency programs. So off the top of my head, you've got Travis, you've got Offutt, you've got Scott, you've got Nellis, you've got Wright-Patterson, and you've got Eglin. So you've got those. You have to rank every single one of them. Let's say, I'm sorry, I hate Florida. I really don't want to go to Florida. One, Florida's not that bad. Beaches are great. But unfortunately, you got to rank it. Oh, and you have to rank the civilian sponsored and the civilian deferred, as I had mentioned in the prior episode. So you have to rank them all. You don't just get to say, yes, I really, really want to do OB, and my second choice would be to do family medicine at Nellis because they have an OB program there, and maybe I'll be able to do more OB type stuff. No, you don't get that option. It has to be all of everything, and all of everything in your second choice, which includes, if there's a civilian sponsored slot, you have to put in civilian sponsored and you have to put in civilian deferred. Everything's got to be ranked. And then comes the third line. The third line is for the internship years. As I said, preliminary medicine, preliminary surgery, and transitional year. So you rank OB number one, rank all of those programs. Rank family medicine number two, rank all of those programs. And if you don't match to any one of those, they roll around into this third choice because they really want you out there doing something. And this third choice is choosing the intern years. And the next episode, we'll talk and focus much more on the intricacies between a preliminary surgery year, preliminary medicine year, transitional year, and I'll even share my own personal opinion why I ended up doing a transitional year as a civilian, as opposed to going for any of those routes. And actually, on that third choice, you can say, send me civilian. But on the third choice ranking, you say your preference is, do I want to do preliminary surgery, preliminary medicine, and then preliminary and transitional year? If I'm remembering correctly, you don't get to pick and choose and say, hey, I really would like to do the surgery year at Travis or San Antonio, but I'd prefer to do the medicine year um, in Dayton with Wright Pat before I do the surgery year at Keesler. Nope, you gotta choose on down the list. And again, civilian deferred has got to be on the list. Let's say you're in the boat like me, you want to do physical medicine and rehabilitation, you want to do something that's not available, or hey, one of my good friends did something, he did not know what he wanted to do. So what you do is your first choice, you put down the intern years. So how I did it, I did first choice program was transitional years. And I said civilian deferred, Travis, San Antonio. Second choice, I then chose either internal medicine or surgery. I think I chose surgery as my second choice because that sounded better than doing internal medicine to me at the time, and ranked all of those programs. And then my third choice on all of that is I put down basically filling out the paperwork where I already said which order I want to do things. I basically mirrored the same order, saying send me civilian, send me to a transitional year, send me to a surgery, send me to internal medicine, and on down that way. Let's say you want to do ophthalmology. There's 2 ophthalmology spots, maybe 1, or urology. I think there's 3. You just rank ophthalmology number 1. And then for your number 2 choice, you go ahead and you put in either the transitional year, the medicine, or surgery prelim years. And then the third choice, you got to choose along the route of those. As I said, one of my friends, actually my roommate through med school, he didn't know what he wanted to do until fairly late. So he applied only transitional years. And in the middle of transitional year, you actually get to reapply again if you so choose to. And that is how he ended up in anesthesia. And he had the ability from the beginning to plan ahead for that. From this, I hope that you were able to understand that within the military match, you have the option to rank 2 different specialties, but you cannot mix and match them, and you have to rank every single one of those programs. But you do have a little bit of flexibility, and everybody has to fill out a third choice option of doing an intern year and providing your focus on if you would rather do a transitional year, do a medicine prelim year, or do a surgery prelim year. Those are all your options. A little caveat on all of this, now that we've talked about the whole rank order and how it works. Since I said you have to put every single thing down, including civilian sponsored and civilian deferred, and even if you are applying to, say, internal medicine or family medicine, where they have a lot of spots, you have to eventually be prepared that you could get one of the civilian positions. You need to have ARAS open. You need to apply to a handful of programs and be there ready. Yes, you can cancel the interviews after the military match comes out, or if you've already interviewed, you then have to cancel and let the program know that you've matched via the military. But I would highly recommend having that as a safety net, as I would also recommend having 1 or 2 transitional years that you've at least been eyeing so that you're ready just in case you get a civilian deferred spot. Again, if you're in my boat, stick around for the next episode where I talk about why I went civilian pretty much from the get-go. But if you're in a spot similar to mine, and you're just applying for your intern years, I definitely have a few backup ones just in case you end up with a civilian deferred notification. I hope you got more out of this. I hope you are understanding how the military medicine match works, and some of the different intricacies around it. Please go ahead and subscribe. Share this with all of your friends that might be lost in the exact same boat. And stick around because we still have more topics to talk about. Thanks. Have a great day. So you are aware the things that I'm saying are my opinion and do not represent the official position of the U.S. Air Force, U.S. Department of Defense, Defense Health Agency, or U.S. government. Thank you for joining us on Musculoskeletal Minute. We have your back. Please remember that this is for education and does not constitute medical advice. Please subscribe, leave us a positive review, and share with your friends.